know. I just press and ask for something, and like you say, sometimes it'll be what I want, sometimes it's not.
Okay, we're gonna get started here. Let me do my little intro for the camera here. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another AT group seminar hosted by the Bluegrass Council of the Blind. My name is Seavey. I'm the Assistive Technology Program Coordinator here at BCB. Today, we're going to be talking about it's an introduction to the screen readers that are available on mobile platforms, mainly Apple, which would be iPhone and iPad, and Android phones and tablets. So just an introduction. We're not going to go too deep for this one, just to get people familiar with what it is and how the basics work. Thank you very much for watching. If you would like more content like this, be sure to head over to our YouTube page and check out some of our other AT group seminars there, or some of our other events available on YouTube. If you have any questions for us or like to get in touch with us, you can look us up on the web, www.bcbky.org. You can send us an email, info@bcbky.org, or you can give us a phone call, 859-259-1834. All right, we have a bit of a studio audience here today. And so I'm going to go through my little just spiel talking about this here, and then I'm happy to answer questions, have some question and answer time at the end. We'll stop the recording and then we can kind of go through there. So introduction to using a screen reader on an iPhone, an iPad, an Android phone, tablet. All cell phones or tablets have really good accessibility, amazing accessibility these days for people with vision impairments or other disabilities. One of those are screen readers. What a screen reader is it's just basically a program that will read out loud whatever is on the screen. A lot of people get that confused with your digital assistant. If you're on an iPhone, that's Siri. If you're on Android, that's Google. It's not. They're not the same. Some people think they are the same, and it doesn't help that a lot of times they'll use the same voice for both. That further confuses people, but they're not the same. The digital assistant, Siri or Google, you can interact with them. You can ask them questions. They'll give you information. They'll do things for you. You can't do that with the screen reader. The screen reader simply reads out loud whatever is on the screen. So if, like for me, if I can't see it, I can tap it and the screen reader will read it out loud to me. When your screen reader is turned on, then your device performs differently, or you interact with it differently than without the screen reader. So if you would normally flick up a list and tap on something to open it, when the screen reader is turned on, that's not going to work. It's not going to do it the same way. There's a different way to perform that action. So that's something to keep in mind. With screen readers, you have to kind of learn the new way to use either the phone or the tablet. But something else that I like to tell people is that it's a tool that you can use when you need it. You don't have to have it on all the time. If you maybe just low vision and you just need a little help here and there, you can turn it on and turn it off very, very quickly in most cases, and just use it when you need it and then shut it off and not have it on. There are many users out there that leave it on all the time and use it all the time. And you can do that obviously, but you can just turn it on really quickly, use it, turn it off really quickly. That's how I have it set up on these two devices. So I'm gonna do a little demonstration just to give you guys a little context, what we're working with here. We've got one of the latest Samsung Galaxy tablets. I'm not entirely sure which one it is, but it's one of the latest versions. And then we also have one of the latest iPad Pros. I think this is a 2021 iPad Pro. So I've got the screen reader running on both of them, and I'll just do a very quick little demonstration. Once again, just to show you the beginnings. Start with the iPad. Also, one thing to remember is that, which makes it easy. Let me unlock. One thing that makes it easy is that the basic gestures for Apple screen reader and Android screen reader are the same. So if you learn one, you learn both of them. When you get into some more of the advanced gestures, then it changes, they become unique. But for the basics, they're both exactly the same. So that makes it pretty easy. As I said, you can quickly turn these on and off. There's a couple different ways you can do that. And one of them is by using your voice. For the iPad or the iPhone, you can tell Siri to turn on the screen reader. For Apple, that screen reader is called VoiceOver. So if I long press the button here, I think Siri's working on this one. Turn on VoiceOver. Oh, I forget the button's over here.
Isn't automatically on his phone, is it?
Turn on VoiceOver.
Okay, I turned VoiceOver on.
Okay, so VoiceOver.
Hourly forecast, 11 a.m., sunny, 62 degrees Fahrenheit.
So turned it up so everybody can hear. So now the VoiceOver is turned on, and it's just a program that runs in the background. Visually on the screen, there's a little box outlining the item that the item of interest, I guess you could say. So I touched the weather, and now there's a little white box surrounding the weather widget. If I touch one of these apps on here,
voice memos,
it just reads it out loud, voice memos, and a little white box is now around voice memos. So if you do have some vision, you can utilize that to see where the little box is. But once again, you don't have to. There's three basic ways to navigate with the screen reader while the screen reader is turned on. I can put my finger down, and wherever my finger touches, it will read it out loud.
voice memos,
And if I move it around,
notes, read maps, App Store, note home, FaceTime, photo, FaceTime,
if you hear that little
FaceTime.
sound effect, let's see
books, App Store, books,
if I can get
setting
one.
book, stock, app, stocks,
That little sound effect means there's nothing underneath my finger, so there's nothing right there. That's touch exploration. So you can do that, just put your finger down, move it around. The other way is if you do have some vision and you can see the elements on the screen, but maybe you just can't see them clearly or can't read them, then you can just touch them. Like I can see this here. Maps. I think this might be, actually, I don't know what that is. Clock?
reminders.
Reminders, see?
Today.
So I can see there's something there, but I can't tell what it is. Here's the clock.
Clock.
There it is.
1:14 p.m.
So I can just touch it and it will read it out loud to me. The other way, which is, in my opinion, the best way, the most efficient way, is to do a swipe, one finger swipe left or right. I use my index finger, my pointer finger, but it doesn't matter. You can use whatever finger you want. And if I swipe to the right,
home,
swipe to the right,
photos, camera, reminders, one task due today.
the little indicator box simply moves to the next item in the list, which in this case of the home screen, it's set up in a grid pattern. It's going to the next item to the right. And if I keep doing that, though, I will systematically work my way all the way through every element on the screen. That's why I kind of think that's the more efficient way to do it. If I swipe one finger to the left, it just goes back.
Camera, photos, home.
And one cool thing is, like if I go back up here,
Hourly forecast, 1 p.m.
if I want to very quickly find something, like I want to find that home app, I know if I just keep flicking to the right, eventually I'm going to hit it. And I don't need to listen to everything. I just need to listen for that word home.
2 p.m. FaceTime, calendar, clock, home.
There it is, home. Now, so you can very quickly move around a screen that way, just doing flicks, left and right flicking. It's called a swipe, but it's more of a flick really than a drag. You don't want to drag the finger, you want to flick it across the screen. And that's right or left flicks. Once you've found something that you want to interact with, for example, home, say I want to open up that app, very simple. As long as the last thing that your device read out loud, I'm just going to take that same one finger and I'm going to double tap anywhere on the screen. Sometimes I'll use my middle finger, but it's just more comfortable, but it doesn't matter. So tap, tap.
Home, BCB Office. 3 of 3 Wi-Fi.
I don't know why it's so much louder in here than it was out. But we got a little sound effect letting me know that the page has been opened or the app was opened. And it started reading the first item on the screen at the very top left. And that's something else to remember. I'm going to go back.
Clock, widget, 1:17 p.m.
Yeah, that's loud also.
Photos. App Store.
So it jumped up to the clock widget and it told me the time. And that's because the clock widget on my iPad here is the very upper left item on this screen. So it always goes to the upper left item on a new page. And that's an orientation thing. That's so where you can know where you are, where the indicator box is. So that is literally the basics of navigating with VoiceOver. You find something you want.
Voice memos.
Voice memos. I double tap with one finger. Tap, tap.
Your recordings. Welcome to voice memos. Heading.
And it launches that app. For iPhones or iPads, the newer ones here that don't have a button, if you want to go back, you have to swipe up from the bottom. And that's with one finger swiping up from the middle until we hear the clicking. And I think it's 2 clicks. 1.
Playback speed.
Nope, I didn't do
Speed
it.
up and slow.
Didn't do it fast enough. 2 clicks, let go, and it goes home.
Clock, widget.
Now, one of my favorite gestures for iPhone users, which is super important, is the 2-finger tap. If we go back into
Notes.
Go into Notes.
Notes. Add
And,
almost anything. Welcome to Notes. Heading.
and then we're going to have it read.
Add almost anything. Capture document.
2-finger tap stops the reading. And it didn't stop it, it just paused the reading. If I take those 2 fingers again and just touch the screen,
Photos, maps, and more for a richer.
it continues to read. So that's a fantastic gesture because these things will just yammer, chat, blah, 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 nonstop. And it gets very annoying sometimes. Or if you're listening to a long article and you know the doorbell rings and you've got to stop, you can pause the reading, go to the door. When you come back, start it again with the 2-finger tap.
Notes experience.
So that is the basics, the
Widget.
very basics of VoiceOver gestures. Now we will switch over to the Samsung. Which is called TalkBack. Come on, this thing. It didn't set the timeout thing.
Stay on there long, didn't it?
No, I didn't.
Get to have a long time for.
I should have set that. Okay, so for Samsung, this is a Samsung tablet, but for really any Android device, the screen reader is called TalkBack. And it is basically the same thing as far as how it, what it does. It reads out everything on the screen, reads it out loud, and you interact with it with gestures, exactly the same as you do the iPhone or the iPad. For this particular device, and this may be different for different Android devices, but for this one, if I long press the volume up and the volume down together and wait a couple seconds.
Talk back on.
One UI home, weather in pager, double tap and hold to long press.
TalkBack comes on.
Accessibility volume set to 80%.
Now, I just set this up, and so I haven't changed the voice. There is a much more pleasant voice. This is still the kind of robotic voice that's by default, but you can change that. But
Galaxy Store.
as I said before, works exactly the same. I can put my finger down.
Galaxy Store, Gabe Clock, Google search, Galaxy Store, Google search, weather, double tap
Move it
for weather
around.
info. Double tap to activate.
And move it around, and it will read whatever my finger hits. If I can see it,
Gallery,
I can
double
tap
tap
it.
to activate. Samsung Notes out of pager. Double tap to activate. Double tap and hold to long press. Actions available. Use tap with 3 fingers to view.
Now, because this one, I just set it up, it's still doing all the hints. It gives you those little hints as tells you the actions you can do, but you can turn those off once you learn all the hints. You don't need them anymore. You can't turn that off. Or I can do
My file.
the swiping.
Samsung page 1. Google Discover. Google folder in page.
And
page
it
2 of
works.
2.
It works the same way. And you get a little bit different interaction, different sound effects. But like I said, same as the iPhone or the iPad. Once you learn what all those sound effects mean, it all makes sense. 2-finger tap again.
Galaxy's current page is left.
Works exactly the same, stops the reading. If I want to,
Gallery.
we'll go into gallery. So now that's the last thing that she read out loud. If I double tap,
Gallery. Settings button. Navigation drawer out of pager.
so exact same function or exact same results. The page opened up. It gave me some audio cues as to what was happening. Once again, if I couldn't see the screen, I wouldn't know if the page was opening or not. So they give you those audio cues. And it automatically jumped me up to the top right.
Settings
So
button.
I can scroll or I can swipe to the right with one finger.
Pictures in list. Unlabeled button. Albums.
And I can do that. And this is brand new,
Unlabeled
so we don't have
button.
anything on here.
Pictures.
But yeah, so I mean, like I said, it works exactly the same way.
Recents button. Out of home button. One UI home. Swipe up or down with 2 fingers for all.
Basically exactly the same way. So the nice thing though, if you have it set to a shortcut, like this one is long pressing the volume buttons. The iPad is triple clicking the home button. Or if you have double tap or one of those things set up, you can do that. You can quickly turn it off and on whenever you need it. So I can long press this.
TalkBack off.
Now TalkBack is off and everything works like it did before. So it's there when you need it and there when you don't need it too. You know, you can turn it off when you don't need it. That is the basics. We'll go into more detail in a future video, I'm sure. But I think we will call it right there. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, please let us know. Once again, you can reach us at 859-259-1834 or send us an email, info@bcbky.org.